Yes, guys, welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV. Welcome back to another match preview. Biggest game of the season, probably the biggest game we've had in about 24 months. Definitely the biggest League Cup final we've faced in probably our lifetimes. The season is basically defined by this game. I can't even believe I'm saying that, but we're here. Um, I'd say Pochettino's potential season or his future at Chelsea might be defined by this game, but he's probably going to stay regardless. But regardless, we need to win. In my eyes, I feel like this is our only realistic opportunity of getting into Europe. Even if it is the Conference League, we need to take what we can get at this point. We've done so much damage this season. It's just about damage control now. But there's the opportunity for Chelsea fans to get a really good night on Sunday, one that they deserve. And hopefully we can leave Wembley Stadium with a victory and leave with the trophy for the first time in ages. Big up my guy, Dan. It's good to have you on the preview as well. Hope everything's good, bro.
Yeah, glad to be here. Obviously, a massive game coming up at the weekend. I've got to agree with everything you're saying about where we stand with how important this final is, how important it is for Pochettino and his career at Chelsea, and how important it is for us as a club now being in a completely sort of new era for Chelsea Football Club. We need to get a trophy to sort of kickstart this and move it in the right direction. Because right now, I think we both agree it's just been a bit of a mess.
It's been an awful season. I didn't think we were going to redo where we were last season, but we're sitting here in 10th in March. I know it's February for everyone watching this video, but our next league game is in March. So we will be 10th in March. Although if results don't go our way, maybe we even slide further down the table. I still haven't really looked at the table properly in a few weeks because there's nothing to look at. Win, lose, or draw, we end up 10th.
Yeah.
At the most. So it's just really frustrating. But I feel like for the players, for the manager as a whole, I guess some pressure gets lifted from this trophy. Like, it's a silly question, so I want to try and tweak it a little bit. How important is this trophy in terms of development of the players and in terms of the manager and where he's taking the club?
Yeah, this trophy is so important. I've said it from literally day one, as soon as we hired him, that his first target should be this trophy, because as a manager in England, his record is pretty abysmal when it comes to like winning silverware. We all know that. We're all aware of that, and so is every other team. So Pochettino needs to settle the doubters down a little bit, and the only way he can do that is by winning a trophy. This is his first opportunity, and to be fair to him, and I will give him credit for this, he's got us there. Whether it's by complete luck, whether it's by Trippier not turning up, we've somehow got to a final, and it's against Liverpool, which is probably as hard as it can get. But he's got us there, which is one thing I think was an absolute minimum for me if he's going to put the doubters to bed, because a lot of Chelsea fans agreed at the beginning of the season that Pochettino is a good manager. Is he someone that can win us trophies? Well, he's given himself a chance. We all know how it went for him against Liverpool and Klopp before. It didn't turn out too well for him. And that's a big worry for me, because I feel like Klopp might have his number. We saw that game the other week. In terms of the players, there's a lot of players in this squad that I feel like aren't winners. They don't know how to win a generic, normal game of football in the Premier League, let alone a final. And I feel like this is the learning curve, hopefully, for this team. They either lose and become more hungry for it, or they lose and they just completely fall off and they never sort of get back to that level, or the complete opposite. They become winners, they win this, and it drives them on and pushes them on to succeed even more. As you said, this is as important as a League Cup final as we've ever had. This is as important for me as the first League Cup final we had under Jose Mourinho. This is
5, yeah.
Yeah, because we weren't winners then as such. That was quite a young squad. I think the average age was probably about 24, so a little bit older than this one, but we were able to get that win and it drove us on. And I know we're talking years ago, but that was almost the beginning sort of a new era under Roman Abramovich, and we hadn't really won anything. We just qualified for the Champions League. But yeah, we obviously did better in the league, second, and we were top of the league when we had that final in 05.
Hi guys, I hope you're doing very well. This video is sponsored by Match Bingo. Match Bingo is an easy way of having fun when it comes to betting on the football. Now, think of bingo, but without numbers. So rather than having 10, 12, 5, you would have corners, yellow cards, and goals, for example. And that would be an example of a line. Now, you can win up to £175 each game with Match Bingo. There are some games you can win more, and spend is only capped at £2. All right, so if you're worried about not playing responsibly, this is probably a good game for you. I do just want to give these guys a little bit of appreciation as well, because 35% of the money they make actually goes to the Stroke Association, which is really, really good, to be fair. I don't know many companies that do that. Let me know what you guys think. Click the link in the description, and make sure you're over 18 as well. And let me know if you guys win any money. It'll be interesting to see how lucky Chelsea fans are. Hopefully, we're more lucky than we are on the pitch.
But this is a little bit similar to me. It's probably the most similar that a League Cup final's been. And when we look back to the last one we had against Liverpool, we're looking at a completely different squad, a different manager. And I actually think the fan base's mind has changed a little bit. The expectations were still very, very Chelsea win. That's what we do as a club. Whereas now, I feel like some fans are trying to give Pochettino time. But I think me and you have had many chats about this, and we're not so sure. So I think this is massive.
I think where we go from them wanting the manager to win stuff to being more patient, I look at it as the standards dropping. That's the way I see it. But in terms of the way the Carabao Cup can impact the squad for the rest of the season, I actually don't know. Like, that's why I'm really trying not to think that far ahead with it. I just want to win this trophy. Like, I think we could win this trophy. We could kick on from it. We could also win this trophy and go straight onto the beach for the next 3 months. We could lose this trophy and be motivated by it because we still don't have Europe. We could lose this trophy and continue to slide further down the table. I've seen so many different teams react to winning the Carabao Cup. I've seen Chelsea sides do it and then go and win the title. I've seen Birmingham City's teams do it and then get relegated. So I've seen Liverpool sides in 2012. I think they won it and then they slid further down the table as well. They were doing the whole mid-table act around then as well. So I don't know how this is going to impact our season. And honestly, like I can't be bothered for the Premier League with with the way this season's going. Like, I just look at it because I need us to get back into the top 7 by any means necessary. But I think the best way to look at this match is simply put just the one game. And I'll give Pochettino the credit as well. He has got us there. Where there has been luck with the Newcastle game, there has actually been good setups in the Middlesbrough second leg. So fair enough. He's brought us there. Now, I just need us to go through a solid 90 minutes, do what we can to get the trophy. Like, it could come down to a point where Liverpool are just a better team than us. And if that's the case, then fair enough. All we need, in my opinion, is 2 things. You have to take your chances. We need to have good game management through the 90. If we don't bury our chances, then this game's going to drag on for longer, and then Liverpool might end up stealing it. If our game management is poor, we're just going to throw the game away. And if we do that, I don't want to hear anyone saying, "Oh, Poch coached a win," when the game's 90 minutes, not 45, not 60. But both teams are going in with a couple of injuries, and I don't know about you, but I kind of like that to a point. Obviously, you don't wish injuries on anybody, for anyone watching in the comments, but I feel like it takes the excuses away. How about you?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from on that one. I think both teams having injuries kind of levels the playing field a little bit. The only thing I'd say is, I think as Chelsea fans, we've got used to it. We haven't had our full strength 11 out for like 3 seasons now, it feels like. We've just had injuries on repeat, players getting injured on repeat, and even new players coming in getting injuries they'd never had before. So we got a massive issue at Chelsea. I think fundamentally that's probably our biggest problem as a club, is actually we can't field the players that we have. Liverpool, I feel like they've just been hit with the injuries coming into this game, sort of. I know they've had injuries on and off a little bit, but I don't think their injury list has been as drastic as Chelsea's for as long. So we've kind of got used to it a little bit as Chelsea fans that our best players aren't going to be available for 90% of our games in a season. Whereas Liverpool fans, they're making a lot of noise about this, and they're kind of trying to create that underdog approach. Like, they are potentially not at their full strength, but the second half I saw of them against Luton, their team still looks pretty solid. I think our teams look a little bit more balanced if Salah isn't in there, if Alisson isn't in there, a couple of big names, Trent potentially not fit as well, then our teams start to look a little bit more balanced, because we could probably make an argument that we haven't got our best goal scorer available. Liverpool wouldn't have their best goal scorer available. We probably don't know who our best goal scorer is.
Oh, you're saying Nkunku?
Probably in Nkunku, or
if he don't start
the fact
this
that there's
game.
a void of a goal scorer at Chelsea. It's with Liverpool losing Salah and Jota, it kind of levels that void in that position of the pitch, right? Then right back, we both don't have our first choice right backs, and goalkeeper. I mean, we don't really have a first choice goalkeeper as such. Petrovic's been really good, but he was never signed to be the Alisson at Liverpool, right? So I feel like the injuries have kind of leveled the playing field a little bit. But when I still look at Liverpool's squad, I feel like they do still have the edge over us. And I feel like Klopp is able to bring anyone into that team and get something from them. Whereas I don't feel like Pochettino is the man that can bring anyone into this team.
His structure's good.
Yeah, exactly right. He's had a structure in place for 9 years, and the academy players who were 10 when Klopp got that job have literally watched that first team do the same thing for that long. So they're completely ready to step in. They've been coached in that way. Look at how much difference there's probably been for players coming into the first team like Alfie Gilchrist and players like that. They've literally seen Chelsea change completely as a club. So I feel like Liverpool have an advantage when they get injuries like this of players they can bring in and the level those players can reach. I think that's why, although I'm not sure how fit he is, like Conor Bradley was able to come into this Liverpool team and absolutely excel straight away, because he just understands what is required in that role that he's been working on for his whole life. So, yeah, injuries level the player field a little bit for me, but I do think Liverpool still, on paper, have a stronger squad. But like you said, it's one game, and if Chelsea have been good at anything this season, it's turning up for one game. That's probably been the thing we've been best at until Pochettino has his way with the substitutions. I don't know if you'd agree with that, but that's what I think.
Yeah. Yes, but more emphasis on the home games, which is why I don't really know how to feel going into this one, because it's not home, but it's not really away. Although our record at Wembley isn't good, although it's also a new squad, so I can't really judge that squad with the way the old team was handling games at Wembley. So I don't know. I don't know. Like, the way the lineups have been better over the last few weeks, although I'm seeing Silva could potentially come into a squad for the Carabao Cup final. I'm going to be so real with you. I think we need to be keeping him on the bench. And I think a big reason why we're starting to move the ball a little bit quicker is because Thiago Silva's not in the squad. Obviously, all due respect, before people start getting crazy in the comment section, or you're costing out Silva. No, Silva's a Chelsea great. He's also 39 years old. It is what it is. But for your opinion, do you think Thiago Silva should be put back into the squad for the final? Do you think we need that experience in the team, or do you think the team's been performing okay without him?
I'm going to be honest with you. I think the team has performed well without him. I think it's almost, it's kind of ironic, really, in the fact that his wife obviously tweeted out saying something needs to change, and Pochettino dropped him, and all of a sudden that change looked like the best thing that had happened to Chelsea. And obviously since then, he's had a few minutes, obviously, against Villa. He had a few minutes against Palace till he got injured. Ultimately, we've looked better when he's not been on the pitch, because we started well without him against Villa. We had a better spell when he wasn't on the pitch against Palace. And then against City, we looked really, really good as well. And we did move the ball better. There's no doubt about that. I think Silva waits for that perfect pass, and that isn't always available. And that's what kind of slows it down. And he almost looks afraid to me to even give Caicedo the ball sometimes, because I don't think there's a trust there. And that worries me. And ultimately, you need to trust that player in order for them to get better. And I feel like when players like Silva haven't been in the side, all of a sudden, we've looked a little bit more cohesive as a defensive and midfield unit, linking the passes between the two. And I feel like that's been really, really important for Chelsea in the last 3 games. And I know you're questioning what we've been like going into away games this season, but Villa and City give me a little bit more confidence than what I had in some of the other away games that we've had this season. Ultimately, our last 3 games been away from home. We've been better on a whole. Like, we've not lost a game.
When we were talking about away games, I meant more like, because we're talking about Chelsea turning
Anfield.
up for the bigger teams. Then I'm thinking Anfield, I'm
Yeah.
thinking Old Trafford, I'm thinking St. James's Park. Hell, Tottenham, I mean, I know we won 4-1, but that's probably the worst winning performance by a 4-1 team ever. So it's like,
that's facts. That is that we weren't
City
good
was
that day.
amazing. Villa was amazing for everyone who thinks we're too negative. But I mean, like, it leans more towards we've been a bit more shakier away from home.
Yeah, which is the complete reverse, right, as to what we had, I think, last year with the likes of Lampard and stuff. I think he completely lost it at the Bridge, did he not? And then we ended up being better away from home to an extent.
I think his home record weren't great.
And I actually don't think there was a point under Tuchel where we went ages without a very good home record at all. So we've kind of flipped that on its head, and I think that's good. But obviously, Wembley's a different kettle of fish completely. It's not home. It's not really away. And actually, there was a time when
Chelsea Poch is home. I got to spend a year and a half there.
That's very true. So that, like, he may feel comfortable in that environment because he knows it so well. Like, little things like that can come into play. I think you just never really know. I think Pochettino has so much to prove going into this game. I think he has to prove doubters wrong in terms of whether he's capable or not of winning trophies. I think he has to prove that he's comfortable in that sort of situation, that he could potentially be a trophy-winning manager. And I think he just has to kind of show that his in-game management isn't going to be something that ultimately costs Chelsea trophies. And I think, but like, we would both say that that's the biggest question mark I think we have going into this game, because we probably both agree that, yeah, he could get it right. And I have 2 things that I wanted to see your thoughts on it in terms of 2 big factors for me in terms of Pochettino and our chances of winning this game. One is that we've obviously had a week to have this break, right? So he should get things right off the training pitch, or on the training pitch before this game, whereas Liverpool had that Luton game. So, like, how important do you think that extra sort of few days is going to be, or do you not think it will have much difference at all?
It really depends on Liverpool's lineup, but I mean, it should be a factor. It really should be. But the only thing is, we've been playing 1 game a week, and then I see Chelsea fans talking about, oh, we had to make those substitutions against Man City because the players were tired. I'm sorry. We play 1 game a week. What are we talking about? Like under Conte, we had an insane tempo. Like, everybody was playing like they were on roids because we had 1 game a week. Well. Yeah, and the 3 subs. Now we have 5. Yeah. So that should be helping us even more. So, like, I don't know. I expect it to. I have a feeling we can tire them out, but same way, like, I'm questioning our fitness. We have injuries every other week. We seem to still be tired, even though we play 1 game a week and everybody's just blind to it. I don't know. That's why this game's going to say a lot. It's going to say a lot, but like I don't even think it's worth asking whether the manager stays or goes after this, because the manager's going to stay. Every source is saying that the manager's going to get given till the end of the season, unless Europe doesn't look like a certainty, which is like 10th in March. Wake up. But hey, like, if he wins, cool. I feel like I can at least mentally check out of the season, even though, like, I don't know where our form's going to be after that. I'm just going to think we've had a really good night. We've won a trophy. We can park up all the criticisms for 1 night and just enjoy the game, enjoy the celebrations. And I can't even believe I'm saying this, but we got Conference League.
Yeah,
like, just win the trophy.
Though, I think, yeah, look, massively, Chelsea need a trophy. There's no doubt about it. This club needs something to sort of link everyone together and lift the morale a little bit between the squad, the players, the owners, the fans, all that sort of stuff. A trophy would really help glue that all together a little bit, even if it's just for a week or whatever. It'll kind of give us something good and a direction to move into, that we'd all want that again. But
Hmm.
you're right. It feels weird as a Chelsea fan saying, if we are to win this game, Conference League is something we might end up settling on. But actually, right now, I'm going to be completely honest, I'd take that over nothing, because I feel like
I agree too. Facts.
any European football is obviously a bonus. And for this squad who haven't really had loads of European football experience, it's almost like a good stepping stone if we're going to be moving back towards that level. But you're right. I think away from this game, the Premier League form is of a concern massively. And that's what I'm struggling to understand. And you mentioned it earlier about standards dropping. We have to remember who we are. We're Chelsea Football Club, and we win titles, we win trophies, and we aren't a team that are renowned for being mid-table, especially in the last 20 years. So I don't have an acceptance when I look at the Premier League table, whether or not we're trying to give time or not, that 10th place looks okay. And I think that's the biggest battle I've got with Chelsea fans at the moment, is a lot of people
You and me both, brother.
telling me to give
You and me
Poch
both.
patience, right? And I load up Sky Sports and we're still 10th after a win. And then we win like another game and a draw and we're still 10th. And I think, hang on a minute, like, what is going on here? Like, this is how backwards this season's been, is that Chelsea Football Club are 10th. Whether or not I'm giving the guy time or trying to be patient with him, it's not acceptable where we are in the Premier League. And that's why I have such a question mark over whether or not this is the right guy for the job. And I think this is obviously really important. And I think the focus is obviously going to be on Pochettino because of his failings before when it comes to trophies. And people will probably get annoyed that that's kind of what we're focusing on before this. But we have to be real here, that the person in charge of this group has to be the right person if we're ever going to see progress. We've seen a lot of teams be put together. Obviously, Chelsea is probably the biggest rebuild we've ever seen in the Premier League in history. But we have to have the right man in the job. Otherwise, we're heading in the wrong direction, maybe with the right players, because I think I saw something in the last couple of games that I haven't seen enough of this season that suggests to me that actually this squad is definitely better than 10th place. And that's why I've got question marks. So this squad is good enough to turn up for one game to potentially go and win a trophy. And I think it's going to come down to the manager on whether or not that week that he's had as an advantage over Liverpool, 3 or 4 days, to make sure the players are ready, to make sure they're aware of what they need to do, and to make sure that his in-game management, he's already got an idea in his head of how it's going to go. I think we saw against City. I actually don't hate the subs. I just think he went far too early.
Yeah, I've got to that point with it. Like, I can recognize, do it in the last 5-10, and that's fine. You even waste a minute or two of the substitutions if the guy's coming on and off are a little bit smart about how they do it. Fine, I get that. 20 minutes in, no one can tell me that was the right decision. And if anybody wants to tell me, oh, the players were fatigued. Okay, why are they fatigued? We play one game a week. Spare me they're playing the dangerous Manchester City. It's 90 minutes running on a football pitch. I don't care. I genuinely don't care. If you're talking about being out-tacticked by Man City, fine. If you're talking about not being able to match them player to player, fine. I will hear you on both of them. If you want to talk to me about fatigue, we're having the wrong conversation. We're having completely the wrong conversation. But like you echo a lot of my thoughts, which I'm really grateful for, because I feel like I've been banging my head against a brick wall for the past 4 months. Like, this squad is not a 10th place team. Like, even I know we're talking about how we need Europe as a necessity just for rotation, just for another trophy. I'm with you on that. It's just, if I had to settle, I would have settled for Europa. That would have been more ideal, because I feel like you get everything, but it's also a secondary route into the Champions League. Like, let's say Poch ruins another season. Fine, we can go into Europa and just try and take that. And then at least there's a secondary route. We usually seem to do well in the Europa League. But, I mean, I guess there's still a chance to get there. I mean, we are hanging on to the race for 6th by the skin of our teeth. Literally 9 points. It will probably be more because Manchester United are actually playing in the league. But we've got the game against Tottenham still to come. That's been postponed. But in terms of this game, just score prediction. How are you feeling for the game in terms of where you think it's going to take us?
Yeah, so I I think the only way Chelsea win this game is I think our chances are going to be limited, like they kind of were against City, like they are against any big team, but we've got to take them. I don't think we're going to be capable of scoring more than a goal, to be honest with you. I just don't see it happening. So I think if Chelsea win this game, it's by holding on, like we've done before in finals, defending for our life and trying to nick a goal. So I'm going to say 1-0. I feel like that's our best chance. If we go to outscore Liverpool, I just don't see it happening. And I think they'll quite comfortably come through us with ease if we kind of set up like that. I feel like the only thing is, though, you don't want to invite too much pressure against Liverpool because then they probably will inevitably outscore us. So if we can keep that clean sheet and we can defend as well as we did against City for the majority of that game, I feel like that's going to be our best chance of winning, because I feel like that's something that actually really worked for this squad. So, yeah, 1-0. What are your thoughts?
I want to say 1-0. I think the game management is going to make it 1-1.
Oh, you're going to say pens.
And then, yep, we're going to pens. I think we're going to pens.
I'm not.
I'm going to predict Chelsea to win on penalties. There's no Mount. There's no Kepa this time. I don't think there's anybody that I feel really worried about taking penalties. I've seen Enzo score one now, so that's fine. Sterling is a penalty taker. Palmer's a penalty taker. Madueke is a penalty taker. We've got Petrovic, who's good at saving penalties. Yeah, Gallagher as well. I forgot. I was trying to remember who took the fifth one against Newcastle.
I know you're not his biggest fan, but...
No, but like he has popped up with more GNA. And hell, you got an opportunity to produce a very, very big moment on Sunday. That could be all I ask for in terms of Gallagher, because if he can get consistent goals and assists, even I'm gonna shut up, because then cool, you're giving me output. Fine. I'm not gonna ask for much more past that. But yeah, for me, 1-1. I don't think we're gonna hold on to the lead. I'll be so real with you, but I think we can hold on to penalties. I'm hoping we can hold on to penalties, and I'm gonna say Chelsea win it through there. Yeah. I really hope we win this one. But I think, just as a last question, does this game impact your thoughts on Pochettino in any sense?
Yeah, it will do. Right now, it doesn't. And actually, no, that's a lie. Right now, it does. It's given me a little bit more positivity that he got us there, which I touched on earlier on. But yeah, it does. Going forwards, this game, if we lose this game, I fear for what Stamford Bridge is going to be like, and the toxicity of the Chelsea fans as a group, what it's going to be like if we lose. If we win, I feel like it could really bring everyone together and kind of give people like me and you who are doubting Poch a little bit, and a couple of other people who are doubting Poch, and even the people that are kind of pushing for Poch as the right man, it will give everyone a sense of direction that actually maybe he is. If he gets things right, it shows that he's learned his lesson. So, yeah, I'd be lying if I said that this wouldn't have an impact on me and my thoughts on Pochettino. I'm not saying it could be completely negative. I'm not saying it would be completely positive, but it will sort of direct my thoughts. I think you're right. He'll stay after this game no matter what happens, but it's important. I think it should be. It's a final for Chelsea Football Club, and we haven't been great at Wembley in recent years, so it should have an impact in Chelsea fans' thoughts on the manager, whether you like Poch or you don't.
I agree to a point, because it will show that he can take you to a trophy. I just need to see the league form. Like, I'd be so real. If he managed to get us back into top 6, I'd be like, fair enough. I mean, we could have done a lot better with how much time we've wasted. But you've done well enough. You must have produced a good enough run of form to consolidate 6th. So that would be fair enough for me. But in terms of winning the cup, that's a positive step forward. It gives the fans some unity. Because I think if I come out of the Carabao Cup and we've won the trophy, I'm not having a Poch discussion that night. I'm going to tell everyone, park it up for the day. I don't care. Everyone's individual agendas to the side. Everybody's Sterling agendas, your Gallagher agendas, your Chilwell agendas, Poch agendas, all of them. Park them all up and just celebrate for that one night. Address it all the next day. But for the manager, it will be a positive step forward. But you got to rise up the league form. You have to rise up the league form. I can't be accepting 10th. Never, ever, ever can I accept 10th. And we can't accept 10th. Some of the fans are doing it, which, God help us. but hopefully that doesn't spread to the rest of the fan base. But yeah, this game is absolutely massive. We have to take full advantage of where we are, because I don't think we're going to get another opportunity to get into Europe. In terms of the FA Cup, we could win that, but there's still tougher opposition in there. It's not like the Carabao where City and Spurs got knocked out very quickly. But we'll see. We'll see. It's a coming of age moment for a lot of these players. Guys, it's been an amazing preview though. Everybody sub over to my channel, Carefree Lewis G. Everyone sub over to BDB Dan. Links will be in the description. It should hopefully be in the title as well. And yeah, like, subscribe, and as always, up the Chelsea, and also pray for us.